Hey, it's Rob Dial-Gino, and if you're in your 30s or your 40s, I need you to hear this. Because I'm 52 now, and I'm telling you, these next few minutes could save you from decades of regret. You are not behind. You are not out of time. You are not too late, but you are at a crossroads. The choices you make right now will decide whether you enter your 50s empowered or exhausted. So lean in, because what I'm about to share is the truth I wish someone told me. When I look back at my life in my 30s and 40s, I realized something that I wish someone had drilled into my mind back then. Those years weren't the beginning of the end. They were the beginning of my compounding years. And I didn't know it at the time. I was stressing about being behind, about not having everything figured out, about watching other people move faster while I felt like I was taking small steps. But what I didn't understand was that every small step I took, every habit I built, every decision I made was quietly building momentum behind the scenes. Your 30s and 40s aren't a countdown, they're a launch window. And if you treat them with intention, they will multiply your life in ways you can't see yet. Most people think success is this big moment, this sudden breakthrough where everything changes. But the truth is, by the time something suddenly happens, it's already been years in the making. It's the compounding effect. It's the little daily commitments, the small acts of discipline when no one is watching, the uncomfortable growth you choose that eventually stack up into something life-changing. Your life right now is the result of your past habits. Your future life will be the result of the habits you choose today, and this stage of life is where that matters the most, because the world teaches you to slow down as you get older, but life rewards the people who speed up internally even when the world wants them to coast. Your 30s and 40s are when you finally start seeing yourself clearly. You know what drains you. You know what energizes you. You've tasted enough failure to be humble and enough success to be confident, and that combination is rare. When you're younger, you guess, but now you know. And once you know, you can build faster, smarter, and with direction. That's why these years are so powerful. You're no longer building blindly. You're building with awareness, and awareness is a multiplier. But here's the mistake most people make. They think it's too late to change direction. They think they should already be there. They think they missed their shot, and that belief alone destroys more potential than time ever could. Because this isn't the period of life where missed chances matter. This is the period where second chances are created. You have enough experience to make better decisions and enough time left to reap the benefits of those decisions. That's a win is never age. The problem is urgency. Some people lose it. They stop sharpening themselves. They stop taking risks. They stop stretching. They let the routine of life pull them into autopilot, and they stay there for years. And when you stay in autopilot long enough, you forget what it feels like to be the one steering. But your 30s and 40s are when you need to wake up the most, because these are the years where your choices echo. These are the years where your habits multiply. These are the years where your future gets built, brick by brick, rep by rep, decision by decision. So don't shrink just because the world tells you you're supposed to have everything figured out by now. Don't compare your timeline to someone else's highlight reel. Don't underestimate how much compounding power you still have left. You are not running out of time. You are entering the most potent, most defining, most transformative season of your life. But it only works if you decide to use it. One of the biggest lessons I learned as I moved through my 40s and into my 50s is this: what you don't let go of will eventually own you. And I don't say that lightly. I'm talking about the people, the environments, the routines, the beliefs, and the habits that quietly drain you day after day. You don't notice the damage at first. You convince yourself it's normal. You tell yourself it's temporary. You justify it because it's familiar. But over time, those small drains become heavy weights, and before you know it, they shape your entire life without your permission. Most people don't get stuck because they don't know what they want. They get stuck because they're terrified to release what no longer fits. They stay in friendships that expired years ago. They stay in jobs that crush their energy. They stay in cycles of stress and numbness because it's easier than facing the temporary discomfort of change. But here's the truth: if something consistently drains you, it will eventually define you. And if you don't cut it loose now, it will steal the next 20 years the same way it's been stealing the last few. Letting go isn't about giving up. It's about reclaiming your future. It's about creating space. It's about clearing the emotional and mental clutter that blocks your ability to move forward. You cannot build a powerful life while holding on to things that pull you back into who you used to be. Because your 30s and 40s, these are the years where everything you tolerate compounds. And most people don't realize that tolerating something you've outgrown is one of the fastest ways to sabotage your potential. You might think you can carry it all. You might think you're strong enough to push through. You might think it's not that bad. But here's the hard truth: invisible exhaustion can destroy you just as fast as obvious pain. The things that drain your energy, they steal your clarity. They steal your motivation. They steal your creativity. They steal your resilience. And once it goes, you start shrinking without even realizing it. There were people in my life I didn't want to outgrow. There were situations I didn't want to leave behind. There were beliefs I was scared to let go of because they felt like part of my identity. But what I learned, painfully and slowly, is that staying in something that drains you is far more damaging than leaving it. Growth requires subtraction. Direction requires decisions. Reinvention requires releasing the version of yourself that someone else is comfortable with. And the truth is, if something repeatedly costs you your peace, it's too expensive. If something forces you to betray yourself just to keep it, it's not meant to stay. And if something holds you back from becoming the person you know you could be, then it has already served its purpose, and it's time to move on. Even if it's uncomfortable. Most people reach their 50s and regret the things they never walked away from, the relationships they stayed in too long, the jobs they endured instead of escaped, the dreams they didn't pursue because they were too tired from carrying the weight of a life they never wanted. And that regret hits different when you realize it wasn't time you lacked, it was courage. Right now, you still have time, you still have choice, you still have power. But that window doesn't stay open forever. Your future is not determined by the things that left your life. It's determined by the things you refuse to let leave. And if you want your life to grow, you have to stop watering what's already dead. One of the biggest lies you'll ever be taught is that reinvention belongs to the young. That transformation is something you do in your 20s, and after that, you're supposed to settle into who you are. But the truth is the opposite. Reinvention isn't just possible as you get older. It becomes necessary because life doesn't stay still. You don't stay still. Your values shift, your priorities sharpen, your experiences deepen, and your understanding of who you want to become grows. Reinvention isn't a sign that you're lost. It's a sign that you're evolving. The older I got, the more I realized that nothing in life is fixed except the stories we keep telling ourselves. You may think you've made too many mistakes. You may think you've missed your chance. You may think the version of you that you've been for the last decade is the version you're stuck with forever. But the truth is, at any moment, you can choose to rewrite who you are. And the strength to do that doesn't come from having everything figured out. It comes from being honest about who you no longer want to be. When you're in your 30s and 40s, you carry lessons, you carry scares, you carry wisdom. And that is exactly what makes reinvention so powerful at this stage of life. You're not starting fresh with nothing. You're starting again with everything. Every mistake you've made becomes data. Every heartbreak becomes understanding. Every failure becomes a blueprint. You're not behind, you're equipped. And most people don't realize that the things they see as baggage are actually the raw materials for their next transformation. But here's the hard part. Reinvention demands courage. It demands that you stop hiding behind the identity you've been performing and start stepping into the identity you've been avoiding. It demands that you let go of who the world expects you to be. It demands that you stop apologizing for wanting more, even if people around you don't understand it. Reinvention will always trigger resistance, not because you're doing the wrong thing, but because you're finally doing the thing that threatens the comfort of your old patterns. There were moments in my life when everything in me wanted to stay the same. The familiar routines, the old labels, the predictable path. But that's not living, that's surviving. Reinvention breathes life back into your decisions. It reopens possibilities. It reminds you that you're not done. And the truth is, the people who thrive in their 50s, 60s, and beyond are the ones who didn't let the world convince them their story was already finished. You might not see it yet, but this stage of your life is the perfect time to rebuild yourself. Not because you've failed, but because now you know yourself deeply enough to build with intention. Reinvention is not about becoming someone new. It's about uncovering the version of you that's been buried under years of excuses, fears, and expectations. It's about choosing again, choosing better, choosing consciously, choosing from vision, not survival. And if you're sitting there thinking it's too late, I want you to consider this. Every great comeback, every breakthrough, every transformation you've ever admired started with someone who felt exactly the way you do right now. Lost and sure, afraid, but willing, because willingness is the spark. And once you have that spark, you can burn down the old version of your life and build something aligned, something meaningful, something powerful. Reinvention is not a luxury, it's your responsibility. And the moment you decide to honor it, everything begins to shift. When you step back and look at the bigger picture, you start to realize that life isn't slipping away from you, it's opening up for you. Your 30s and 40s aren't the countdown everyone makes them out to be. They're the years where your habits multiply, where your choices echo, where your future starts taking shape. And the only thing that can stop that growth is clinging to the things that drain you and refusing to believe you can become something more. You are not meant to stay the same. You are not meant to shrink. You are not meant to let fear or comfort or the expectations of others keep you stuck in a life that no longer fits. You are meant to evolve. You are meant to release. You are meant to rebuild. And the strength to do that has been inside you this entire time. Reinvention is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that something is waking up inside of you. Maybe you haven't been treated the way you deserved. Maybe you've carried more than people know. Maybe you've survived things that changed you in ways you still don't talk about. but you're still here. You're still choosing. You're still capable. And you're still in the part of your life where one decision can rewrite everything. So don't fear this season of your life. Embrace it. Use it. Lean into it. Because you are not behind. You are not too late. And you are not done. The most powerful chapters of your story haven't been written yet. And the pen is still in your hands.